The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As we start off the day, we're down 20 on the S&P cash, down 146 on the Dow, and off 3 on the NASDAQ, and the Russell off 2 points. And of course, BOFO volume, 6.3 billion shares as we start the show. This is where you get these kind of washouts where there just isn't anybody, almost anybody left to sell. So we'll see what happens. But in the next couple of days, we should get a fairly decent oversold bounce at a minimum. A lot of stocks down with no volume or very light volume. A great deal of volumes being generated by high frequency traders and ETFs and indexes. By moving those around, they just have to continually move, but not really trading those equities in those ETFs that much. So we're looking at a heavily weighted to ETF and index volume day so far. Other things of interest to me is that we kind of were way down before the market went up, and then we started seeing people pile back on to the short side. We're at we're off 22 points at the moment, so we're off to what we opened up around 2750 or something. It's pretty close. We got we'll talk about options and what they say that the option market makers think that will happen between now and a week from Friday. We'll look at some of the other stocks that I've been waiting to see how they did throughout today. I've got some positions. They're fine. I mean, I'm down on a dime or a quarter on some of these things. I've got one that kind of worries me, but that's about it. I'm not long any of the indexes, mostly because individual stocks, the ones that everybody wants to run to, will outperform, or generally will way outperform the individual indexes. So I'm hoping to skate where the puck is going instead of where the puck has gone. But we'll see how the rest of the day folds out. Wouldn't be surprised to see by the end of the day, from this point, we're either up 40 points or down 40 points on the S&P cash, because there's going to be someone's going to blink, and that's going to be probably the most interesting part of the day in the last 30 minutes. Now, after we get done for today's show, and I mean the really big shoe in the markets, we turn our attention in the morning to earnings. JP Morgan, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, PNC. Then Monday, it's Bank of America and Charles Schwab. We get into Tuesday, it's Goldman Sachs, United Health, BlackRock, Johnson & Johnson, Morgan Stanley, Domino's, Progressive, JB Hunt, Comerica, Infosys, Netflix, CSX, Cree, United Continental Holdings, and what else do we have? Lam Research. The Wednesday, we get to Abbott Laboratories, Winnebago, eBay, Alcoa, United Rentals. Thursday next week, we get into Blackstone, Philip Morris, Textron, BB&T for another bank, S&P or SAP, excuse me, the big Microsoft-like company from Germany. Ericsson, Snap-on. Friday gets us really into the heart of earnings with Honeywell, Cleveland-Cliffs, Procter & Gamble, Schlumberger, and Manpower. Then the week after that, into the 22nd, we get Halliburton, Hasbro, PetMeds, Polaris. So it's businesses this now really getting fired up. And you got a ton of people that are short a lot of these stocks. If they miss earnings, then my guess is that a great deal of that's already priced in. If they make earnings and they have a decent outlook on their stock, I think there's a lot of stocks that could see both heaven and hell, continued selling if they miss, and the ability to have massive short squeezes if they outperform. Although I think maybe those short squeezes may be, I think a lot of people are going to short anything that moves. That's generally what happens after this kind of down move. Everybody's sure that the end is nigh. I'm thinking we get a fairly decent bounce. And at that point, we'll see if the volume's good. Is this just an air pocket like we had very early in the beginning of the year? My theory this morning when I was looking at this about 7 a.m. was that we got an air pocket, and it was very much like the end of January, 1st of February, and the end of, well, let's call it the 1st of April, where you had a nice run, you came back, you retested the low, and then we headed on higher. And the question is that what we're getting? Is that going to be the pattern? Giant downsides only for the market to recover. Now, probably the biggest thing that we should be watching almost with one eye on it is the TLT. It's up $1.26. It's off its lows of 113.79. But it's going to hit resistance here. But the TLT is telling me one thing, that President Trump has basically put the onus on the Fed. If you break it, you buy it. And my guess is that TLT is moving fairly briskly today because somebody decided to grab the levers. They don't want the finger being pointed, the fickle finger of fate pointed at the Fed. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We'll get into it, but always we come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And we got a bit of history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And we're off 32. On this day in 1979, VisiCalc was released by Dan Bricklin. The spreadsheet application is called the first killer app for personal computers. Without it, Apple would have been a footnote on the way to computerdom. It was at the point where it was going to go bankrupt without this. And of course, suddenly tons of MBAs coming out of college that summer started buying Apples and spreadsheets. Turned the PC from a hobby to a business tool, and the only downfall was Bricklin did not patent the system. I did meet him once at a computer users group that we had downtown and enjoyed it quite dearly. Anyway, we're off 32. Looks like we're going to come back out here and test some of these lows. So as I said, probably between now and the end of the day, up 40 or down 40 from anywhere where we are at. Be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website.
You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors. Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Back. Give me a call at 877-927-6648.
Great, we just crashed.
Hello? Is this Bob? Bob, are you going through a car wash? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Guess we need to get a better connection for Bob. Bob wanted to know about UNG and electrical car battery technologies. That's a pretty wide thing. We probably need him to call back on a good line, see what's happening. What else do we have? I was going to go ahead and look through some of these. Wanted to look at some of the stocks that I'd made money on this year and waiting for the pullbacks in these, especially these ones that go from heaven. Oh, Bob, are you back?
I'm back, David.
Okay, well, you going through a car wash?
Yeah,
kind of sounded like it.
I've got really 2 questions. The first one, are you familiar with, there's some leveraged ETFs that play natural gas, DGAS and UGAS, they're triples.
Yep.
And it seems that logically, which is always terrible, it seems logically that, this country is going to go through, we're kind of low on reserves and we're getting a little cooler earlier in the demand of natural gas. Should, in theory, take natural gas up into the 4s. Anyway, at least in my projection, at least this year. Long term, who knows, but that's what I'm thinking. And I just didn't know if you had any thoughts about taking something like DGAS, which has terrible, if you want to call it management fee erosion, for lack of a better idea. Just short DGAS and just let it go to zero because they keep on doing it. As long as natural gas maintains a neutral, if not positive, move, shorting DGAS on an erosion basis, let alone a positive move in natural gas, would seem to really be a no-brainer.
Well, I'm not a big fan of that. There was the short version of the UVXY that bankrupted everybody by going from $100 to 10 in what, 2 days? Sounds like you're going through the car wash again.
Oh, well, yeah, it's these, my phone, I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, what I'm going to say is the problem I see is, one, I don't think you're going to get to $4 on natural gas. There's a huge amount of natural gas that's just flared off. They can't even find a place to put it. So can it go up and down a certain amount? Yeah. $4, I think, would be a huge stretch this year.
That's pressing your luck, huh?
I think so, because all these wells that are getting crude out, sometimes it's not even practical for them to sell it. They just burn it off. And we continue to see huge amounts of requests for the Northwest for them to flare it off. They've got to get a permit, so you know how many people are flaring it. And I think I just saw it last week. Permits are fairly high. So if it got expensive enough or good enough that they could actually make money, you're going to find a lot of people willing to put it, try to find a way to get it to market. But right now, literally, we've got a lot of people throwing natural gas away. And that's why it's fairly inexpensive. I mean, at one time, it was like 16, right? And we're in the 3s. And, could something happen? Could a major shortage happen? Yeah. But, I mean, that's kind of what you're betting on to get it probably past 4. Could it get up to 380 or 390 or something? I think it could. But I think at that point, you suddenly see a flood of people trying to sell natural gas. So is it a tradable vehicle? I think the answer is yes. Is there a huge amount of supply that could come on at any time? I think the answer is also yes. Now, you've got kind of a little almost... Huh?
Well, I said I dropped, somehow I dropped off my earpiece here. Well, so can I ask you another question then?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I don't know how you view the movement in the proliferation of electric cars, but it seems that everyone slowly is jumping on the electric car bandwagon. And I didn't know if you had an opinion about there are 2 tracking stocks, if you will, lithium, LIT, and battery, BAT, B-A-T or B-A-T-T, that seem to track the the miners and the battery suppliers for these cars. I didn't know if you had thought about them or if you could.
Yeah, I have, and I don't think much about it. I think SQM is what I'd be looking at. Have you looked at that?
No.
That's chemical mining of Chile, and these are the guys that control about 70% of all the lithium.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually coming back on fairly light volume. It's down today on fairly light volume. Ideally, you'd like to see this hit just under $41. It's certainly into those candles of the September 5th low. But it went up on strong volume, came back on lighter volume. So this 41 area, 42 area looks like it's going to be kind of the support in this. And, with by 2020, there's going to be 105 different EVs by different car manufacturers. So it's not just going to be Tesla. Everybody and their dog's going to have one. So yeah, if you were wanting to play it that way, I think you got to keep a close eye on SQM. It's the pure play on that. I think you got too many other problems with those ETFs. Sounds like he's taking a bath, folks. I don't know. It's kind of tough to tell.
Yeah. It's always trouble when you're in the car.
Okay.
So,
anything else?
I'm sorry?
Anything else?
Well, as long as I had you on the phone, I thought, well, as long as you're talking about SQM, then do you have anybody you like in the 5G telecom space?
Yeah, we've talked about Keys and Qualcomm, and I'd let the other ones, the people that are actually buying the stuff, get a little bit farther down the line before going after them. But Verizon, T-Mobile, all those guys eventually Once they get the networks up and they pay all that out, then those guys are going to start making money. So right now, we want to look at people like Ericsson and Qualcomm and people in the test equipment part of that business like Keys and the rest of them. So, yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I just think T-Mobile and the rest of those guys, you want to see them spend a lot of money. I think Verizon gave Ericsson $3.6 billion to build out their system in Europe. So you can look at companies like that actually supply the equipment too. We'll be back after this.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're going to look at some other stuff here. Give me a call at 877-927-6648 or email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, we were going to talk about AAOI. I wanted to see how this one did. Again, this is feast or famine. As it broke through this April 4th low at 22.54 with 900,000 shares, you had some volume of about 2.2 million shares as it went back up into or tried to get back into the trading range. Did so for a couple of days, but now it's kind of coming back down here with light volume. And again, you'd love for these things to close back into this trading range. But like I said, there's a lot of stocks out here without a lot of volume on the last couple of days in volume that's almost twice of what it was last week. But this one's kind of in the million share range. Got about that today. No real signal yet on this one. But again, these things, most of these that I'm going to look at today have fairly monstrous short sales numbers. So if they start moving, you could see fairly rapid movement. We're back to a gap in ABEO, which is Abena Therapeutics. This gap back up on the, August 29th of 2017. So we're a little over a year. It's back into these lows. And again, about 1 million shares compared to about almost 3 million shares on the way back up in those days. In fact, the day after that, it did go up on 3 million. So you got back with 2.6 million shares on February. You bounced, you went up. Didn't quite have the volume. You back down here to about $9.66. But pretty close to some level of support. If it fails here, it's down to 701. I want to see how Avalar was doing in our new IPO that I think is fairly interesting. Not doing much. Got about 3 days of sideways out here, and maybe even 4. About 600,000 shares so far, compared to 1.3 million shares on February 28th. And August 15th, right after it IPO'd, came down to 32 bucks and did so with 750,000 shares. So not a lot saying you should buy it, but at the same time, again, a lot of these stocks I'm looking at just don't have a lot of juice. Maybe they get it by the end of the day, but it's more of a market-based thing than it looks like, than a great deal of individual stocks. We're off 37 on the S&P cash, 300 on the Dow, and 51 on the NASDAQ. So what else do we have out here? CHEGG, C-H-E-G-G, CHGG is the symbol on this one. He had a big thrust down on July 30th with 3.9 million shares into that today with let's call it 1.1 million shares so far today. Does look like it's going to close below that level. So there's one. COMM. Another one out here, CommScope Holdings Company, breaking through its May 1st low that had 14.3 million shares. Yesterday, you had 2.1 million shares. Today, 900,000 shares so far. CTSH, Cognizant Technology Solutions, CTSH is a symbol on this one. This one's really broken through, but it doesn't have the volume. Downside is that if you come back in, you're probably going to see resistance at 74, but at $70.56, you could get $3 or $4 out of that just if the market starts to bounce any at all. Deutsche Bank, this one's back to its support level where it gapped up on on July the 5th with 5.8 million shares. Last 3 days, 2.9 million shares, 3.9 million shares yesterday, 4.3 million shares today. That one looks like it could end up finally cracking on the downside if the markets continue to be weak. DDR, DDR is the symbol also. This one is slowly breaking through the April 23rd low at $12.50 with 1.5 million shares. This one did break with volume on the 9th with 3.6 million shares. Down a little bit yesterday, 4.8 million shares. A little sideways action here today. But again, I think a lot of these things look like they want to bounce back into the trading range, at least for a while. In fact, when we're talking about that, let's talk about TLT and what I'm looking at. We're down 43 now on the S&P cash. What else we got here? Just taking a quick look at what I got. Okay. Okay. Anyway, the TLT, of course, we broke through and went down to those levels around the 112 level. Never really got there. My guess is the Fed's all over this now. We've popped back up to 114.89 on the TLT today. That takes you into this down trend candle. It came down with 21 million shares on the 3rd. You're up on 9 million shares. So you're going to find a great deal of resistance right around this 115 area, which is no surprise. Question is, how much does the Fed put on before the end of the next few days? Because my guess is that they are going to start feeling the heat. Some other stocks out here, Editas Medicine, EDIT's testing the August 7th low that had 1.9 million shares with about 1 million shares so far today. So a little bit less. ESIO, Electroscientific Industries. This one's finding some decent lows out here. July 5th, $15.30, 881,000 shares. Got into it at 566,000, so not that much lighter. Came off the highs with lighter also. So certainly not the weakest of the bunch. Another one that's broken through to the downside today, in fact, the last couple of days, is the MCI Australia Index Fund, EWA. Of course, they're huge in, I'm going to say, 90% of Australia is raw materials, iron ore, literally everything else, rare earths, energy, everything. And not a real semiconductor country, a real raw materials company. You had 2 lows out here at about 21 bucks and change. You blew through that yesterday with 3.6 million shares. And today, following that up with 4 million shares. EWQ out here. Take a quick look. Down 45. Okay. $29.19, February 9th, 3 million shares into that with 1 million shares today. This is the French ETF. So you're down to this with about 1/3 the volume of 9th. But you did close below that right at it. So I'm going to be looking at these European stocks immediately, especially France. Come on.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks. Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're back. We'll look at some other ones. FDX looked fairly good when we looked at the chart in the morning. This thing is going through its 4 million share low of June 28th at 222.44. Went through it yesterday with 1.7 million shares, so about half today, 1.6 million shares so far. Closed back above 222 would put it right back into the trading range. Haynes Celestial, another one of these out here at its lows. And we'll take a look here. 900,000, well, let's call it 1 million shares back on June 1st, $25.41. Going through that with about that volume today. So not increasing. Chart did look fairly good. It needs to close back above 25.41 to get into the trading range. HIMAX, HIMX, also looking like it was testing this low of March 29th, 589 with just a hair under 4 million shares. Today, 1.66 million shares. You had some movements, kind of a big reversal back on, what is this, what is that, the 5th of October to come back into this thing, but you're not getting a lot of blowout volume so far. In fact, let's take a look at the SOX and the SMHs. SMHs did earlier test the previous low. Needed 17 million shares back on February 9th. Didn't quite get to 93.88. Did get to the April 25th low at 95.45. This one's got 15.7 million shares today. So it looks like you're going to get into that 17 million share low from February 9th. Iron Mountain. Certainly down, breaking its previous low of July 27th that had 5 million shares with 2.9 million shares yesterday, 2.5 million shares today. Looks like it's getting back around to these lows of May 17th, but this does open up the 29.78 low from February 28th that had 2.5 million shares. One from the semi-space is Click. We look at this one, it's back to the $20.50 low of February 6th. That had 1.4 million shares back there. And yesterday you had a little less than 900,000 shares today. Open lower, up a little higher on 377,000 shares. So the semis look like they're pretty washed out. I don't see a big sign in the entire industry that you've got a bounce imminent, but it could happen anytime if these things started turning around. Okay, what do we got out here? So now we're off 67 on the S&P cash at 2717. And I don't know what if you can say about that. Blew through them, and that's it. Take a look at it. Hopefully that is it. But yep. Okay, I'm taking a look at some of these other ones out here. Okay. 15, what is this? 15 million shares in LKQ Corporation. That's the April 16th or April 26th low, 29.60. Went through it today and yesterday. Yesterday with 5.7 million shares, today with 3.5 million shares. So way short of that 15 million share low. But it looks like it's back into this low of 27.85 that goes back to April 7th, 2017. Just a little shy of it, but certainly back into those levels. Okay. What else do we have? Maxwell. Earlier, a call about electric vehicles. This one, if they can ever get it out, got the road to riches, but still haven't made one that a supercapacitor good enough to replace batteries. I always thought that it would be this company. August 10th low, it was 324 with 750,000 shares, down to 418,000 shares today. NCR, another one, where we have, what else do we have? Okay. NCR, May 2nd, this saw $26 at 5.5 million shares. Went through it yesterday with 1.5 million shares. Today with just 1 million shares, but it's staying lower. Any close above $26 would be a buy on that one. The energy on the pullback also looks very good. NEWR, which is New Relic, isn't it? I think that's what this one is. Take a look at it here. There we go. New Relic. Well, it's back into its gap up of May 9th. That had 1.9 million shares. Yesterday you have, what was it? 1.6 million shares. Today, a little doji candle out here with a little less than 700,000 shares. New Skin, another one you need to be looking at. Breaking through to and through these previous lows. July 25th had 550,000 shares. As you broke through it yesterday, 800,000 shares. So that means you've got the next low out here at 64.21. That one truly broke. REVG, which is Rev Group. This one's banging along its bottom at about high 12s out here. First low at 8 million shares, second low at 3.5 million shares. Low yesterday at under 1 million. Today, you got about 1 million shares and a little bit of a bounce out here on that one. Red Hat, a convincing blowout off the top. It used to be 177.70 back on June 14th. This has come back into the February 9th low of 121. It had about 2 million shares. We broke through this a couple of days ago. Volume really hasn't significantly increased, but it hasn't decreased either. It's just a little bit more. Red Hat, the big problem is that everybody's using cloud services. And by using cloud services, you don't need to call Red Hat. You've got that in-house if you're Amazon Web Services or Google or the rest of the bunch. Anyway, we're going to the break. We've got our last segment out here. Down 59 on the S&P, down 537 on the Dow, and the NASDAQ's off 106.
Jason Path has just launched his weekly newsletter, The Quantitative Edge, available only at TFNN.com. Right now, you can sign up for Jason's outstanding weekly report, including midweek updates whenever warranted, with a 30-day money-back guarantee included, so you have nothing to risk. Jason develops his trade recommendations by creating an ensemble of predictive and mathematical models trained on data by leveraging a variety of techniques, including market-based computer simulations. Jason then combines these sophisticated predictive and analytical models with deeply researched macro outlooks to identify opportunities in a number of different markets for traders to act on. Whether you're looking to trade futures, equities, commodities like crude oil and gold, forex, or cryptos, Jason covers it all. Sign up for Jason Path's weekly trading newsletter right now by visiting the front page of TFNN.com, and you'll find the Quantitative Edge under the Newsletters tab. TFNN.com, educating investors. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Well, they've been, they just really ripped through a ton of stops in the last 5 minutes, and now getting a little bit of a pop. And I suspect somewhere we hit a nerve at that level, and people started buying back in. There's a good 1% bounce in a couple of stocks I've seen from the bottom. We may be close out here, folks. Watch very closely at the end of the day, because that was some significant buying off the lows in them. Doesn't mean that that's the end of it, but certainly a lot of people, when they ran those stops, were collecting some stuff down below. We were talking about Red Hat, and this is not one of the ones I think is going to come back fairly easily. We talked about Sabre a couple of days ago. It was fairly close and bouncing along this 2450 level. It did break through it yesterday, did so. Volume increased a little bit, but you're now back into that huge up candle from May 1st, and that had 7.8 million shares. You're into it with a doji now with 1.4 million shares. SE on that one. Yep. Some kind of panic conditions, not unheard of. Certainly, Spectra Energy, a fairly decent looking chart, gapped up back on May 16th, did so with 4.6 million shares, came down yesterday with 1.4 million shares, today 1.7 million shares, and a little doji out here. But this is the kind of pattern that you're looking at. I would have liked to seen a little lighter energy on the way back down. But a lot of stocks out here that are coming back to these gaps. And as long as they act right, we could have some nice stocks to look at for Christmas. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll be here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.